Okay. What do I do with this issue here? What do I do? Well, there's the first thing that you have to evaluate is whether or not the scriptures are true. If you evaluate that the scriptures are true in what they're saying and you apply it to the situation, but the situation has a dichotomy in it that says, well, I can't do that. So what do I do in lieu of that? It gets back to a subject matter that I talked about earlier in one of our other podcasts that says you have to evaluate where your soul is and what's more important. Is my soul and the value that I have on my soul more important than going down a path that is idolatrous? Because if I'm taking my soul down a path that is idolatrous, my soul is not going to be delivered. That has to be a heavy weight. That can't be a light thing. That has to be a heavy thing. So now I have to look back and I have to look at the situation. I've got to say, well, family, I have to hang my hat and my soul on what. And if you don't have any Hebraic understanding, you'll probably say, I have to hang my hat on what the Lord says. But in your mind, the Lord to you is not the guy across the street. In your mind, the Lord is the Most High El, the sole power of creation. I have to hang my hat on what He says. And I'm going to have to walk my life out according to what He says. The truth of the matter is that what you're trying to entice me to do is idolatrous. And I can't do that.
Correct. Correct. It's just simple as that. Yeah.
Just simple as that. I can't do that. Now, does that mean that I have to live the rest of my life like the Seventh Day Adventist and cut all you all off and not talk to you and not be around you because you're idolatrous? Is that what that means? No, that's not what that means. That only means that from a theological perspective, I cannot walk the road that you're walking on in worshiping a demigod. I can't do that. I can't function in a way that's outside the teachings of the Most High El. I can't do that. You and the nations can do whatever you want to do, but I can't do that. Now, the fact that I can't do that should not be a barrier that destroys us as a family.
Right.
Because here's the point. If I look at the example that I have before me, while it was that Hebrew Israel in many instances has walked in opposition of the Most High's ways and not walked in His mitzvot, He never stopped loving them.
True. True.
He never stopped loving them.
True. True.
So So the other point that's within this whole discussion is the aspect of being isolated because you've been used to being around
Yeah.
this idolatry. You've socialized with it.
Yeah.
Now you want to break off from it because you have coming to an understanding. Now you're asking yourself a question: what am I going to do? I'm isolated. I'm on this island all by myself.
Yeah. And that's huge. That is a big big
I
thing to
don't
deal
have
with. Yeah.
I don't have people of like-mindedness that I can talk to, that I can fellowship with, that I can be around, I can socialize with. It becomes a problem,
Yeah.
and we understand that.
Yep. We do. We do.
But you have to also know that text says that the Most High says, I have never left myself without a witness. You don't know, once you start gravitating to truth, how much truth is around you. Because the Most High will not allow you to just be isolated on an island by yourself. Even if you have to make a phone call, or even if you have to send an email or a text to people who understand, like you and I, and ask us questions to help you walk this out, there is an avenue. But my question to you is going to be one question, which is the same question that a doctor would ask you if you went into him and he diagnosed you that you had cancer. He would ask you and say to you, this is fixable. How important is it to you to fix it?
Should be very important.
So when it comes to your soul, and you know the things that are in opposition to the one who created you, as long as you're breathing and you have breath in your body, it's fixable. It may be different, but remember something. The Most High called you to be different.
Absolutely.
He did not call you to be like the nations. As a matter of fact, he warns us. Do not be like the nations. Do not do the things that the nations do. Well, I got to tell you, Greece and Rome are a nation that have given you a way of life that is in opposition to the Most High, that he tells you don't be like them. I've called you and I have set you apart from me to be different.
Right. Right.
It should be a very proud sign on you to wear the sign that I'm different.
Sure. Absolutely. And that's tantamount to this text. Because as we're looking at this particular text, we're saying, okay, someone is enticing you to bring you out. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to speak from my own personal position. They are not enticing me out. What they're doing is running from me. It's because I'm sitting there and giving them a truth about the Most High. I'm giving them a truth about their demigod that's over there that doesn't meet the letter of text at all. And they usually are scurrying off. These individuals, 9 times out of 10, are really don't know the things that we have. There's a plethora of information and being set apart that enriches our lives, that allow us to enrich others as well. We're on the precipice, like you had said. Like I said, this is the genius of what you had said before, is trying to even pinpoint when that turn was made, when we read in Daniel in chapter 12, when the books are open and all this information is made aware to us, that we are trying to call. This is the reason why we even went across the country, is to make a connection so we can establish a community of Hebrew Israel. And by doing such, drawing others out into the ways of the Most High.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, one could look at this and say, okay, well, like you were saying, do I cut my family members off because of the fact that they believe in JC, or they believe in Judaism, or they believe they're in Islam? I don't want to talk about that particular, we came out of Christianity.
Yeah,
so that's why we use it the most.
Yeah,
but
because
it's
that's where we
germane to
came
everything.
from. There's two things. I'm not to cut you off.
Sure, no, go ahead.
There's two places we come from. We come from Christianity and we come from Judaism.
Yeah.
We're not there anymore.
Right, exactly. So with those two components that are there, and that's where we came out of, we're all trying to simply do is say, hey, listen, there is a truth about the Most High that you need to know about. Our mandate is to bring Hebrew Israel out of this idolatry. I cannot cut you off entirely, because my job is to sit there and expose you to the Most High. And that's one of the things that when we were over there, we talked about, was to say, hey, listen, I understand. And that's why I got to take a second. That is why it was important for me to even understand when you made the statement there a second ago about how individuals are very loyal to what they know. Mm-hmm. Why can't you acquiesce to this information? Well, I got to do a cognitive understanding here to understand that people are used to that demigod. They've been in that 20, 30, 40 years. And at the end of the day, they're being introduced to the Most High in a new light. They don't aren't familiar with it.
Yes.
And so therefore, if I know you for 20, 30 years, if I put it in a realistic vernacular, if I know you 20, 30 years and I know this person over here for 2 years, and you guys come to me with a dispute, I'm going to believe you first, because I've known you the longest.
Right.
But the more and more I'm exposed to the things that the Most High has, and they make sense, everything is connected. That's one of the beautiful things that's over here in this Hebrew text, is that we have not seen a whole. We have not seen any hypocrisy.
Right. There's nothing ambiguous.
Nothing ambiguous over there. There is a fiber that runs through the whole entire Hebrew liturgy that is consistent from day one, and it doesn't fold back on itself. So by us going ahead and, again, witnessing to individuals, I'm using that as a pejorative term, but exposing them to the Most High fulfills this issue of trying to draw them out. So, again, if I was going to answer this in specificity, capital punishment is something that's done in the land.
Yes.
And it says that you're to put your hand to them first, and then the rest of the community is supposed to come out.
Yeah.
That happens in the land, and we're not there. So for the person that wants to say, okay, you're doing the letter of the law, yeah, let's do the letter of the law. Let's get Hebrew Israel all back together. Let's let the Most High deliver us and get us back into that land. And that's a ways off before that actually happens.
Yes, it is.
So while we're here in exile, let's continue to keep drawing Hebrew Israel out. And the more and more that these individuals, family members, friends are around us, and we just exemplify our lifestyle and they ask questions. I'm going to tell you one of the things. I'm going to say, I'm sitting here squirming.
Well, stop squirming.
And I'm doing this the whole entire time. You know why?
Why?
Because I should have something on that I don't.
I know.
And it's bothering me.
I know, but you'll have them.
Because I know that y'all folks in Atlanta are getting ready to make us some. These seats that exemplify who you are when someone sees you. So it's, again, exposing our people to the ways and the teachings of the Most High in order to have a relationship and establish a better one, at least, which I think is tantamount at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
I jumped around to a whole bunch of different places as I don't want to say rambling, but
I mean, here's the issue. We are living according to Daniel 12 in the last days. With that being said, the Most High said, in this last day, knowledge would increase. Therefore, if knowledge is increasing and the paradigm is old, but there's a new paradigm, then there should be a major shift towards the new paradigm, which is not a new paradigm. It's been there all the time.
Yeah.
But now, in this time where knowledge is being increased, that old paradigm is being revealed and rediscovered.